Week commencing the 5th of February. I don't usually do much on Mondays. I know I technically started the week on the Monday, but I just feel like logically it feels weird to start it not on like, I don't know, Monday. But Monday is usually kind of like my reset day, and to not do much artwork, particularly creative work, and then I like clean the house. That's like my chore of the household. And yeah, I tend to do the dusting and hoovering, so I do that every week. And it kind of tires me out, so I both rest that day and do the cleaning, and then I always have a really early night. I'm probably gonna have one tonight as well though, because I'm really tired this week. And part of me was like, oh, you've picked a bad week to like do a first vlog, but I thought if I end up doing like not much at all in this week, I can always extend it, but you never know. But yeah, I'm trying to show the realities, and you know, tiredness is part of that reality, and I'm quite tired a lot, so let's not lie about it. There's nothing wrong with being tired, there's nothing wrong with showing tiredness. And you know, I've got my herbal tea that it's the Pucker Feel New one, so I don't feel new just yet, but I'm sure it'll kick in at any moment now. I'm afraid there's never going to be any like aesthetic coffee making on this account, because I don't like coffee. I never have. Actually, if I ever got, I could get like eventually one of those really nice teapots that people put like loose leaf herbal tea in. That would be nice. I'm gonna try and probably do some more Iceland Zine or something like that. So this zine is going to be about a trip I went on over 10 years ago now, when I was in college, and I went to Iceland with geography students. Even though I wasn't one myself, I sort of was allowed to tag along, which was really good because I really enjoyed it, and it really stuck in my mind. The landscapes and like natural beauty I saw there were just kind of never forgot about them. And yeah, I just thought it would be a really interesting challenge to look back on something that was such a long time ago now, in a very different time in my life, and yeah, rather than what you might normally do, which might be to make something very soon after an experience, to have that time to kind of see how my memories have changed. I just thought it'd be interesting. Just having a read of the writing for the zine, which I've already done. I kind of like made that quite quickly one day, and do you know, one of the hardest things about this is I'm wobbling a lot on the ending, because whether I'm making like a short comic or like when I was making my Dream of Dog zine or whatever, it's always the ending I'm most bothered about, because there's something about that note that you leave things on that I think is really important. But it's hard because I've ended up at the end of this scene like somewhat reflecting on like why I liked the trip so much and like what was going on like in my personal life after that. But I can't tell if I genuinely don't like what I've written, or I'm just sort of inwardly struggling with the vulnerability of sharing things like that. Because I'm like someone who, I really want to talk about like mental health and things like that, but I equally find it very hard to be vulnerable, generally. So I often am quite, I'm like a weird contradiction of 1 minute talking a lot about these things and the next being quite closed off, really. And it's just quite interesting to have gone from a zine that had like no words in it at all to one that is very wordy, and I'm sort of feeling quite self-conscious about the wording. And I haven't got loads done today, but I'm pleased with what I have got done, and I've still got time left yet. But like the way I've approached this scene is I've essentially just been sketchbooking, and I've just been like drawing quite sort of naturally, just calmly from sort of things I've remembered and sort of images I want to convey, but also like from photos that I took while I was in Iceland, really like old photos now. And I don't usually draw from photos, so it's been quite interesting. And I never draw landscapes either, which is part of the reason that I did this, because I thought it would be interesting. And so yeah, I've been drawing like quite random like collections of, you know, images. and this is sort of mostly what I've done so far. I don't like that, so kind of ignore that. That won't be in there. You know, obviously I'm not showing this super clearly. I'll probably do a shot of this actually with my camera. So today I did this. I was sort of trying to draw one of the mountainsides, and just seeing if I can get some of the textures and the dynamic of it. It has been really interesting actually, and I feel like day by day, the more I'm like using pencil a lot primarily, the more that I just absolutely love pencil. I don't know, I'm just totally fixated on it at the moment. And then this is quite a different image that I drew, which essentially that's a self-portrait of me from many moons ago, 10 years ago, so I would have been 17 then. And basically my hair went very frizzy, and I'm trying to think what a good word for it would be. Like it got covered in salt basically from the very salty water of this place we went to called the Blue Lagoon, which is quite a famous like tourist destination, where you go and swim in like an outdoor hot spring, and it is pretty cool. And yeah, but when we came out, like I should have been more careful with my hair, because we all had really like hair that you couldn't get a brush through it, you couldn't like deal with it. I had to wash it to get the salt out. Yeah, I just thought that was quite a funny one to draw, because I don't want to just draw landscapes, you know. I want it to feel like there's some personality to it and some different images. I don't want it to feel like looking through the same image over and over. So I'm trying to like diversify the imagery and think what else to add in. But yeah, it is quite a different zine, this again, which, you know, I've said in the previous video, like that's the whole point. I'm trying to sort of hop from one idea to another and see what works. Yeah, and I quite like, you know, having a new thing to focus on once I finish something else. And I do sometimes have multiple things going on as well. But yeah, because I have to admit, like the pajamas zine I've just brought out, I'll just show it on screen if you didn't watch the previous video, just so you know what I'm talking about. This is a zine I brought out very recently. But in terms of like business, like we're a few days since launching that, and I've sold 3, which I'm still really grateful for those 3 sales. But it's a little on the disheartening side, because when I've previously released zines, I've usually at least sold a bit more than that. But it does happen. People have a lot of things to spend money on these days that are more important. Not that I don't want to put down the importance of the artist's work, but I just think it is a realistic thing that often when you're buying books, art, it's not an essential buy. So, you know, I'm trying not to, you know, feel bad about it, like it's not a good thing that I made. And there's always time. Once you've made something, it doesn't expire, it doesn't, you know, go in the bin one day just because you didn't sell enough. It can always, you know, it might sell more in a year, it might never sell, but I'll always have it, and I'll always have that achievement of making it. I think after this project I would like to make something that is quite narrative, because like that was fictional, because again I'm making something that's non-fiction here, which is interesting. You know, it's all about building your confidence. We'll see what happens. So I appreciate in this shot you can't really see what I'm drawing. I'm still trying to figure out what shots to do to show the process. But for now you can more see me enjoying the music I'm listening to. But I'll work on better drawing shots. I was thinking how one thing YouTube is probably going to be good for me is for when I'm in waiting mode, because I'm about to meet my friend, but like I literally always don't know what to do with myself before I'm like doing anything. So like she hasn't even set off yet, but here I am ready to go. But I did get changed already once out of the outfit I was going to wear. I'm wearing my bird jumper. Lovely to wear birds. I've not actually got enough room in this room to do a fit check, as the kids say. So it's now Wednesday. It's actually already 20 to 5. So I'll just rewind a bit to explain what I've been doing. So last night I did do some more drawing, but I could tell I was getting more and more tired really. So I did some very rough sketches from some of the drawing, some of the images. But like this one, for example, the picture I was drawing had some really challenging textures, which honestly were just really difficult to like convey in any way. So I kind of got a bit frustrated and was like, no, this isn't working. Then I had some rather comical attempts at trying to draw the tour guide, because I basically explained in the zine that I can only vaguely picture what the tour guide looked like. You know, this is a zine about a trip I went on over 10 years ago now. I don't have a photo of the tour guide. I can just literally vaguely picture a man who must have been maybe in his 50s, and I know he had a red hat and he wore glasses a lot, sunglasses, because it's very bright in Iceland because of all the reflection of the snow. In certain places, obviously, but it's looking bad. I sort of tried to start with the hat there. I was playing around with colour, even though I think the zine is going to be fully black and white and just be pure pencil, but I am trying to think about how I could expand from pencil and maybe like, even if I just sometimes added like 1 or 2 colours, or like I digitally added colour, that would be interesting. But yeah, and then I did a bit of a sketch of like the bus, and I was kind of happy with that. I liked some of the textures, and I wrote a little note to myself of something I wanted to draw. But overall, I had just kind of gotten tired and I was done with it. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Maybe some Iceland Zine, but I don't know if I'm actually like in the mood for it. I might have a think of like some other things. I am also working through a book that I'll actually just go get it. It's Making Comics, Storytelling Secrets of Comics, Manga and Graphic Novels by Scott McCloud. And it's a comic about making comics. Okay, so it's Thursday. It's 3 p.m. 3 guesses what I'm going to say. I'm tired. I'm tired out. I'm just having a really lethargic week, I think. It's been snowing today. It's been freezing cold. It was pretty for about 5 seconds. Now it's just miserable. But yeah, what did I do? I didn't get much else done last night. I can't really remember what I said I was going to do. Oh yeah, I worked through this book. I've actually finished working through this, like reading it, but I tend to like to go through things and then go back through it and do like the actual exercises and sort of take it in for a second time, third time, you know. But there is loads of really good stuff in this actually. And you know what? It gives me enthusiasm. It both kind of intimidates me because, you know, it shows just how much work goes into comics, but it also encouraged me at the same time. Yeah, I would recommend this. There's not a lot of like if you were to say, oh Sam, what stuff you would recommend like for new artists, there's not many like specific things that I would say, oh yeah, this is like a holy grail of making art or making comics. I just don't think that's how it works, or at least it hasn't been for me. Like, I think you draw from, you know, draw in that sense, you draw from a lot of different types of learning, but you know, I think I will recommend this one. I think it's decent and it has a lot of info in it. and it was enjoyable to read, and it's definitely the quickest I've ever got through a non-fiction book, because I take years of my life trying to read non-fiction. I'm absolutely terrible for it. I have like loads of books on mushrooms because I'm really interested in the mycelial network, but I've hardly read any of them because I just in taking non-fiction is just like very dull to me, to be honest. So today I've mainly been doing that book, and I've got to pack some orders now, so I've got this stuff ready. Obviously it's great to get orders, but the kind of task of packing orders is quite boring. But sometimes it's good to have those mundane kind of tasks. It's actually a good thing. And other times I just can't bring myself to do it. I think I am just tired at the moment. I don't know if I've mentioned that. And then I also want to just do some thinking about what project I want to do next after the Iceland Zine, because I've realised often my kind of process is I'll be in the act of making something where I'm not necessarily like really deeply thinking about what I'm doing, and while I'm doing that, sometimes I'll be mulling over like what I'm gonna make next, because I think for me, like, there's this like thinking process where I'm like deciding on ideas and storyline or whatever, and then there's just the getting on and making it, which are two quite different like modes for me, I think. But yeah, one of the hardest things is like just deciding what to actually make about, because like I would really like to make something that's fictional next, even if it's just something really short. But it is, I mean, technically the pajamas was fictional, but you know what I mean, like a fictional story. But deciding what story to tell, I just find it so difficult, and I think it also feels vulnerable and scary. Like I think when I write a story, I just start thinking, well, it's just not good, it's not interesting, it's unoriginal. What are you trying to say? What, you know, it's just, I think there's a lot of fears that come up. So maybe I need to consult the Jar of Destiny, which is a jar where I have a lot of like just simple prompts, and try and start really simple with a very simple story. Because I have a few ideas, but I think I'm intimidated by how big they are. And it's sometimes hard to strike that balance between like, how do I not overwhelm myself with a big idea, but how do I also challenge myself to take that chance as well? It's hard to strike that balance sometimes. But I think I'm doing okay with it. We'll see. But I think sometimes you pressure yourself to like think of an iconic character, or like the kind of story that will really impact people, really stay with people forever, but you know, you don't stumble across that like without working towards it, if you know what I mean. It's all about trying to remember this promise I made to myself to explore things and experiment and not stress myself out too much. So I've got to keep that in mind. I'm sort of realising that there may not be a single clip in this video where I'm not in this room, because I've just been very in here. I've been very in this week. I am quite like that, to be fair. So I need to fight the cold weather at some point. I'm gonna try and get on with some things now. I've not got any herbal tea yet today. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, who knows. So we're nearing the end of the video, and I just wanted to show you a clearer shot of the drawings I've done so far for this scene. I'm happy with the progress. Equally, I think I've got a fair way to go yet, but I'm really enjoying drawing this scene so far. One more thing I thought I'd add to like a vlog format is like, you know, whatever I've been maybe reading or whatever. So I finished this book, which is Sir Gawain and the Green Knight by Simon Armitage. I believe it's a like, this is the Old English. It's an Old English poem that Simon Armitage sort of modernised. So it's like a modernised version of a very old piece of writing, basically. I believe that's right. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I quite enjoyed this. I quite like poetry and stuff that is in that kind of format. I really like short media as well. I mean, I can enjoy long media, and loads of books I like are pretty long, but I actually deliberately try and get short books at the moment. My friend actually lent this to me though. He lent me quite a few books, and it's quite good because it gets you out of your sort of comfort zone of reading. But some of them, I did look at one of them the other day that I've not read yet, and it has like equations in it, and I thought, oh dear. Yeah, meanwhile I lent him like this book about this like adventurer who's lost in this Arctic sort of place, which is quite different. But yeah, and apart from that, I've been watching some stuff. Been watching a Korean show called When the Weather is Fine, which it's really calming, I find it. And it's all like very wintry. I love stuff that's set in winter, even though I don't love winter, but watching stuff set in winter, yeah, absolutely love it. But yeah, and I'm really jealous of one of the main characters who owns this like really lovely bookshop in the mountains, well, near the mountains. So just to finish this video off and just to explain how it ended up playing out, originally I was actually gonna extend this beyond the week, because so it's now Wednesday of the following week of the week you've just watched, and at first I thought like there isn't enough drawing in the vlog, so I did quite a lot of drawing on Monday and I filmed it better, and so I was going to do kind of a week and a half. But when I came to editing it, I realised that because I ramble on endlessly, the video is actually already really long, and even when I'm cutting it down a lot, it still feels like a pretty long video. So I have decided to just keep it to the week. And so I apologise that in this video, yet again, there are not very good shots of me actually drawing, but I can faithfully promise that the next video will have better shots because I've already done them. So I hope that the next video, you know, each time I'm trying to improve, you know. I don't know whether it's going to be a vlog, the next one, another week vlog. I feel like obviously feasibility wise I can't be doing a weekly vlog all the time, but please let me know what you thought of this kind of format, and I'll go from there really. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and comments, advice, questions, suggestions are all really welcome. I'm really grateful for the subscribers that I have gathered so far, and yeah, really appreciate any, you know, help and advice. Yeah, let me know what you thought of this, and I will see you next time. Goodbye. This is the one and only shot I took outside the room. It was in a shop of these little puppets. I didn't get it because me and my friend already have matching rats. Yeah, shown here.
There he is! So that's who the penguin would be friends with if I ever got the penguin. Although he's got a lot of... oh.